It's game day as the Chicago Sky take the court for their first preseason game today. Also, Dana Evans has been named as the starting point guard for the Chicago Sky, at least so far. We're going to take a look at those things. Plus, why the Chicago Sky's media team just keeps failing, and I don't know if I could defend them any longer. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So when it comes down to it, the Chicago Sky have their first preseason game today against the Minnesota Lynx, going down at 7 p.m. Chicago time. By the time this is up, it's only going to be about 3 hours until game time. But with that said, we do have now a starting point guard name for the Chicago Sky. I talked about it a little bit on my last episode. I mentioned Kennedy Carter, I can pronounce her name correctly, could have been named as a starting point guard. Well, it looks like Teresa Weatherspoon is going with Dana Evans as the starting point guard. And considering Spoon was a point guard herself, I trust in her evaluation. Dana Evans saying this, I trusted her. I knew she meant business, but I mean, she really pours into us. I've never had so much communication, positive communication. I don't feel pressure. I honestly feel more relieved knowing that I'm going to get my opportunity. And this comes via a lot of Chicago Sky fans have seen Dana Evans for years and have seen that the potential in Dana Evans to be a starting point guard in this league. Now, of course, she's played behind greats, right? You look at Courtney Vandersloot, she was never going to start over her. The Chicago Sky started Marina Mabrey at the starting point guard last season to kind of help fill the backcourt with Kalia Copper, and Courtney Williams was also in that mix as well. This is Dana Evans getting her opportunity. And for that credit, Coach Weatherspoon said this. Now, she wants it as a playmaker. It's important that you lead by example. You know exactly what the head coach wants, being an extension of who I am. She's fighting, scratching, and clawing for us to be better. And this is a big thing. Dana Evans, always on the international circuit, has looked like a damn good point guard who can distribute and score and fill it up damn near, right? And so now knowing that Dana Evans will be that starting point guard for the Chicago Sky, it just brings more clarity. Right now, this is her position to lose this upcoming season. Hopefully she holds on to it. We saw last year Dana Evans turning into such a fierce defender for the Chicago Sky, guarding for 48 feet, right? Things like that. And while, I had listened to the voicemail, also I talked about the potential of Kennedy Carter starting for the Chicago Sky last game because of her kind of trying to revamp her career. Dana Evans has been here. She's been a member of the Chicago Sky, only 25 years old. Yeah, she's 5'6", but she's scrappy. She fights hard. And Dana Evans has always been an important part. Yeah, she started off her career in 2021 with the Dallas Wings, but she didn't stay there very long. She moved over very quickly to the Chicago Sky, playing more games her rookie year, 23 games played for the Chicago Sky her rookie year, only 6 played for the Dallas Wings. She's only started 2 games over the course of her career, so it's not a whole big sample size to really judge Dana Evans by as far as a starting point guard, and we're going to really get to see that. She now joins a backcourt with Marina Mabrey. We'll see who starts at the 3. Expected that Camila Cardoso and Elizabeth Williams will be the 4 and 5 as well. And so this is a big step for Dana Evans to really show and prove that she deserves this role as a starting point guard. And I, for one, can't wait to see her do it, man. And I'm sure the Chicago Sky front office as well wants to see her, especially before her contract's up, see what they really have in her if she's going to be that starting point guard for the Chicago Sky team. But let me know what you guys think down below. Is the Dana Evans being the starting point guard the right move for the Chicago Sky? Or do you think that it could have been Kennedy Carter, or maybe even somebody else, Lindsey Allen, somebody like that? I think it's the right decision. This is kind of what I came into the season expecting. Me and Steve-O in our initial video talking about our projected starting 5s. But now, with that said, we now know that she will be the starting 5, so we'll see what comes of that. Now, with that said, we also got some injury updates. So Diamond DeShields is actually out. She's not projected to play until the season opener on May 15th as she kind of revamps and things like that. Nikolina Mikic as well is out for the first preseason game at least, so we now know that. So, they're going to be missing some players, some ladies here in this first game for the Chicago Sky, but we still have more than enough players that we're really trying to take a look at, players that are fighting for their role on this team and their spots on this team. So maybe this opens up a door for Brenda Maxwell to play a little bit more minutes, right? So Diamond DeShields is going to have a role on this team. I have no doubt about it. If she's healthy, she's going to play. We pretty much understand what her role is going to be. But now we get to take a look at other ladies as well. And as far as Nicolina, she's gonna make this roster as well. I would project. So we'll see what happens with that one. But this first game against the Minnesota Lynx is a game that everybody is excited for. There's been some back and forth on if this game's actually going to be televised or not by a lot of people. The WNBA League Pass does show it available, but there's some doubt around it as well. It also shows on YouTube TV. Either way, whether it's live or not, we'll have a live post-game show for you here on the channel. So make sure you guys stay tuned in for that as well. But before we go, I want to talk about some of the missed opportunities by the Chicago Sky's media team. Now, I was a guy who, because of Angel Reese's introductory press conference, considering how the Chicago Sky had really changed, the fact that they even held an event was really big. We're talking about for the last few years, even before COVID, it being held in ladies' cars over Zoom as they drove, right? And so I gave them a little bit of leeway for that, mainly due to the fact of, all right, you took a step up. It is a step up. Let's see how you continue to do it. The ladies definitely deserve better. But the Chicago Sky, we don't have really a press that really support the WNBA in a major way, right? When you look at the press that covers the Sky, most of them are podcasters that filed for media passes and have been able to come. You don't get really the big coverage that some of the other teams do. I gave that a pass. But then media day went by, where not every WNBA team has a media day, considering the Chicago Sky brought in Camila Cardoso, right? From one of the most storied teams in collegiate football, coming out of Don Staley, her being the coach there. And then you have Angel Reese, who is very much a celebrity in a lot of cases. The Sky didn't even have a media day. Now, that is something that I look at and then I say, this is a big fail for the franchise to not have a media day. You didn't have a fan presence at the press conference, which I gave you a pass for. But for the fans to not really get a chance to really learn these new ladies, these ladies who are going to be pillars of your franchise, so you're hopefully building this team around, and to not even have a media day, not even for your returning players to get their thoughts and feelings and talk about it publicly and where they feel the direction of this franchise is going and how the excitement around the Chicago Sky deserved a media day. The new fans for this team that came from being LSU fans, from being South Carolina fans, they deserved to have a media day to hear these ladies talk. There's more interest right now in the Chicago Sky for a team that hasn't won anything than I would say ever in the team's history from a worldwide perspective. Yeah, the local media in Chicago doesn't really give a whole hell of a lot to the Chicago Sky, but at the end of the day, this was your opportunity. And to completely skip and bypass media day, I'm sorry, but for me, that was an L. That was a big L by this franchise, and these ladies definitely deserve better. So while I gave them a pass, and many people don't think I should have gave them a pass for what they did on Angel Reese's press day, for example, I did give them that. But not to have a media day at all, to me, is crazy. It just is. And I don't like it, and I hope the Chicago Sky really learn from this. You have an opportunity to grow your fan base, to grow the W, right? To grow the awareness of these players that you brought in here. You have an opportunity to do all of that. And to let that opportunity go by, to not give more of a press to this team, to these ladies that are sacrificing for you, that was a bit of a fail to me in my. I gave you a pass for media day. You don't keep getting passes from me. And not that it means anything. Nobody's watching this show from Haize and saying, oh, well, Haize didn't give him a pass. Let's get on their ass. No, nobody's saying that, right? But I just hope that the Chicago Sky learn more. And yes, we brought in 2 new owners to help really have more assets, to have more finances for this team. They were very transparent in why they needed the additional owners to come in. But you got to get right. You're not going to grow. You're not going to grow awareness. You're not going to do any of that if you're not trying to put these ladies in front of the camera as much as you can. Now, with that said, some of you fans don't get a pass either. If you're going to complain about the media day, if you're going to complain about the press conference, you need to make sure that you're showing up to the Win Trust to go to Chicago Sky games, because don't just be somebody who complains on social media but doesn't show up actually for the team to support and show your face, right? Invest in this team. Buying t-shirts and jerseys is great. It's cool. But if you have the capability, show up for this team. Show the passion that Chicago has for this team. Do that. This fan base, whether you're worldwide in Chicago or not, try to. So buy league pass, right? Help support the W in those ways. So nobody gets a pass from me in this case. We got to continue to try to grow the W. It's something that I also recognize that even with having this, that we're growing the W in a lot of ways. So as the W continues to go into this next portion of its history, let's make sure we're supporting our ladies in Chicago Sky. Get a better media team. Get a better media team. Now, I do want to go around the W for one topic. We got some changes in rules for the WNBA. There has been a second coaches challenge added now that can be used during the regulation or OT if their first challenge is successful. That kind of coincides with the new NBA rule, which is something that we've seen a lot. So now, previously, you only got one challenge. If you lost that challenge or if you won that challenge, that was it. Now, if you do win your challenge, you get an additional challenge. So it helps kind of keep the referees honest and stuff like that. Also, now there's been a change to the timeout rule. So each team gets 5 timeouts, plus they get 1 reset timeout as well. So, that's an additional change to the season this year as well. So I just wanted to cover those things. The second challenge, I think, is something that could really play off big for teams in the WNBA, so look out for that. But otherwise, guys, we'll be back tonight. We'll have a live pregame show. We'll also at least have a live postgame show. If the game is aired live, we may even have a live call. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button for that. I love you guys. Make sure you guys are following the show at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. And I'll see you guys the next time we go to Skytown. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.